Good day, everyone. I am Bai, and with me are Professor Jonald Bernales, Aslani Limbona, Juhaimin Omar, and Dr. Kiriman Osdemir. So this work examines the current state of AI in Philippine aquaculture, the barriers to its adoptions, and also it offers practical solutions and recommendations. So let's walk through with the presentations. So these are the topics covered. So now, let me first begin with a simple contrast. With this slide, you can see two very different circumstances and of farming system. On the left side, you can see a high technology farm with automated aquaculture practices like automated feeders. With this advancement, it represents a significant transformation in aquaculture. On the other side, or on the right side, a traditional bangus farm with manual feeding, bamboo structured, and limited tools. So with this contrast, it captures the main challenges. So the problem with this one is it's not the technology doesn't exist, but the problem or the challenges of this of the nations is the farming reality is fundamentally different. So the question is how to adopt and contextualize AI solutions with this reality. So let's have a glance, which is aquaculture is one of the backbone industry of the Philippines. So globally, the Philippines hold the rank 12 in aquaculture productions, accounting for nearly 1% of global supply. So this may seem small, but for developing nations with predominantly small-scale farmers, it is significant. So in 2023, the sectors produced 238 million metric tons, valued at over 124 billion. So what's very interesting is that the seaweeds dominate the output, accounting for more than two-thirds of productions, which mostly came or comes from worms region and contributes almost half of the entire country's seaweed volumes. However, despite this scale, the sector remains highly vulnerable to climate variability, disease outbreak, rising inputs costs, and also labor shortage. So this pressure makes the digital transformations increasingly necessary. Globally, aquaculture innovation is accelerating, which is based to our review. We identified four core AI technologies relevant to aquaculture. These are the machine learnings, deep learning, computer visions, and also AI. So this technology actually works synergetically. For instance, machine learning and deep learning improve the computer vision system accuracy, while the AIoT enables deployment in real-world farm environment. As we can see in AI globally, there are AI-powered feeders, water quality sensor, and even computer vision for fish counting. So here's the question: can AI work for the Philippines? Because this technology is already exist and were proven. So these are the current initiatives and innovations of the Philippines in the context of aquaculture. We categorize them into AI stage and also automation stage. So with these initiatives and innovations, the Philippines is gradually moving towards modernization in the aquaculture sector. For instance of that is the Crabifier app, which helps the farmers identify fast-growing crab species, and also the smart hatchery system, which developed by the DRSD. So while there's a clear momentum from several initiatives, the widespread adoptions remain limited. On the other hand, some solutions are already running in a real time, but aren't yet scalable. And some of effort remains prototype, and the question is why? So now, given the fact that Philippines already has the package of innovation, Why does adoptions remain challenging? We identify several barriers and categorize them into four. So these are the technical constraints. One, economic viability, skills and knowledge barriers, and the institutional and policy barriers. So with this, by considering these challenges, this means that the AI must be grounded in local realities, particularly among small-scale startups. So to make AI works for the Philippines for both large and smallholder farms, we recommend four-pillar strategy. So we have here the localized research and development, which ensure that the AI tools are explicitly grounded in Philippines ecology realities and farming practices. We have here the enabling policy, which establish a regulatory and institutional environment that enables responsible and scalable AI integrations. So the third one is the capacity building, which builds the human ability to use, maintain, and benefits from the AI system. And the last one is the cross-sector partnership, which is strengthen the implementation through shared knowledge, resources, and coordinated efforts. So by considering these four pillars, this will ensure that the technology, people, policy, and partnership work together to help small holder tribes. So by considering the pillars, the proposed pillar, a single approach won't work for individual farmers nor various farms. So we propose three inclusive pathways based on the diverse conditions. So we structured the AI integrations into three tiers or three layers. So we have here the advanced layer, which is designed for urban and high capacity farms, which is promoting advanced adoptions in urban farmers. So we have here the intermediate layer, which is support for rural and semi-urban farms, which will provide hybrid and low-cost innovations in rural areas. So we have here for the foundational layer, which is also designed for unserved and marginalized area. It is to ensure that inclusivity or inclusive access for these areas will provide a minimum viable digital capacity that ensure farmers to participate in AI-driven aquaculture. So by integrating those inclusive pathways, we propose a context-sensitive AI aquaculture model. So this model is an adaptive model, which is reflected in its layer approach. So this model will serve as a foundational guide for integrating digital technologies into aquaculture across the areas. So it shows how the information flows, how decisions are supported, and also how farms can gradually upgrade as their resources or their readiness improves. So, for instance, for the context A at the top level, the model features a central digital ecosystem which is powered by cloud computing and big data. So for the context B, which is rural and urban farms with greater resources, which can adapt more advanced tools, which is such as IoT sensor or cloud-based monitor, or even AI-driven predictions. So on the contrary, the context C, which is refers to the unserved or marginalized farmers, which can begin with fundamental tools like solar power heat or an offline first system, so they can still participate in digital transition even with limited connectivity or electricity. So, so with this context-sensitive approach, it indicates that AI adoption should align with each farm's realistic capacity and needs. So to operationalize everything, we propose also a roadmap. And with this slide, it shows the overall structure of the AI integration map. So we have here the system mapping and building, which is provide the structural foundations for developing and make success measurable from the start. So we have here the second phase, which is infrastructure and prototyping, which is transform conceptual plans into functional and validates AI model that is suited for Philippines aquaculture. Third is the scaling and localizing phase, which is expand AI adoptions while ensuring local relevance, usability, and operational readiness. So the fourth one is the integration and sustainability, which ensures long-term functionalities, relevance, and ecosystem integrations of AI system. So fifth is the continual serve improvement, which is keeps the AI system adaptive, updated, and continuously improving over the time. So we have here the governance, which is serve as the backbone by ensuring this AI system um, safety, equity, and ethical use. So this slide provides the full details breakdown of each phase in the roadmap. So from system mapping and building, where this phase from identifying and mapping the all requirements needed like data, policy, resources, risks, or even indicators. So after all identifying all the requirements, it will go through to the second phase where it includes developing, validation, or even procuring resources that needed. So after that, when the model is it's successful, so it deploy or it will go through to the scaling and localizing. This is where the model will deploy to various farms and areas. So with that, with this that deployment, so we have here the integration and sustainability phase. With this phase, so after the deployment, it will ensures that the system continues to functions after the deployment. So we have here the continuous service improvement. This is where the system or the model keep adaptive, up to date, and secure, which is consistently improving. So if you will notice the risk management there. So at the bottom of the two phase, which is the scaling and the sustainability phase. So actually, the risks are relevant to all factors. However, these two phases, these risks are most visible in these two phases. Why? Because due to technology adoption, long-term impacts, and system survival, um, which entails uncertainties. So, like cybersecurity or cyber risk, rather, or environmental impact. So, or changes. So, that's why the risk assessment and mitigation strategy are treated as parallel layers to these two phases. So, the last one, as you notice, the governance, which is, like I said, it's a backbone of the AI adoptions. These layers, so as you can see, ensures that the entire system meet or considered ethical, secure, transparent, and well regulated. So to warp this up, so we have here the conclusion, which is the AI holds the potential to transform the Philippine aquaculture sector. So second, integrating AI requires a coordinated, context-sensitive approach tailored to both large and small producers. The fourth one there is overcoming constraint requires a robust technical and financial solution, a supportive ecosystem, and also a coordinated, decisive national strategy that prioritizes transformation in scalability, interoperability, and cost effectiveness. The last one there is the AI adoption is essential to strengthen resilience and ensure the long-term sustainability of the Philippine aquaculture sector amid the rapidly evolving digital technologies. So I think that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.